I think in coaching, price is really about the outcome. How much is the outcome worth? For instance, I do like the red pill test. Let's say there was a magic red pill. You take this pill, in 90 days, you lose 50 pounds. How much would someone pay for that?
Hi, and welcome to Common Denominator, a podcast about growth, mindset, and entrepreneurship. I'm Moshe Popek, and today we chat with Brandon Forbes. Brandon is a business and executive coach who helps entrepreneurs build coaching and consulting businesses. Essentially, he's a coach for coaches. Brandon has helped over 1,200 people find success doing what they love, and he can help you as well. Hi, Brandon, and welcome to Common Denominator.
What is up, guys? Glad to be here.
I really love this idea that you have about finding the thing, and I have my reasons for it, but finding the thing that lights you on fire before you start your coaching business. Why is that so important?
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to look at it. A lot of people go into business, I've found, or even coaching just to make money. And what I've found to be true is once you get the money, you realize it's not enough. Like there's got to be a greater calling, purpose, whatever you call it or believe in as a person. And for me, I've just realized you can do a lot of great things in the natural, but something supernatural happens whenever you do it for a bigger reason than just you.
And I really like the analysis that you do of, before launching a business, you talk about risk reward. Why is that important to do that analysis?
Yeah. So one of my, she wasn't really my mentor. She became my mentor, but early on, she was my boss. I used to work for a lady named Brooke Castillo, and she talks about, just going to the worst place possible. Like, what is the worst case scenario, right? Of starting the business you want to start, and then just go there and then be okay with it and be like, okay, even if this happens, like I'm still going to press forward. So for me, that really helped. Like the worst case scenario is I lose everything and have to sleep on my parents' couch with my wife and kids. Like whatever, I can do that.
I think definitely in business, you talk about the worst case scenario, that could happen every day. I mean, I tell my guys, when you're fresh in the morning, let's deal with the hardest things, right?
Mm.
You have to deal with that. But do you find that when when you imagine those hardest things, what actually practically happens in the business scenario? What strength does that give you?
Yeah. Ultimately, for me, faith has a big part to do with it, like 100%. For instance, like I just believe that you should consult with God on like, hey, is this a business like that am I even called to it? Because a lot of people are, doing things in their own strength, but they're not doing what they were called to do. I believe everyone has a purpose, right? So whenever I go to the worst case scenario, um, ultimately God is still in that scenario. And if that's true, then whatever else happens, will be okay. And two, if I believe that I'm following, in my belief system, the Lord, right? And if I get led into a situation that is negative, I know the Bible says I go from glory to glory. So it might just be an in between, but there's going to be good that comes out of it. So that's definitely given me strength. And it sounds easier said than done, right? Because even this past week, I was like operating in fear. I was like, dude, what if this happens? What if I lose this? What if, the ads stop working? And it's like, at the end of the day, right, I'm doing what I'm called to do. So that's where I found peace.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. I mean, I have a business partner, and he said to me, just talking about faith. He said, if you take someone who doesn't have faith and you have them run a business or own a business, and whatever that faith happens to be, um, they will establish some sort of relationship with a higher being in business. It was interesting that
Mhm.
he said that point, because there are just points that are beyond your control, and you're doing the best you can in any business. You talk to anybody that has any level of success. So I've definitely seen that. I want to talk a little bit in detail about businesses. Um, I know a lot of people have, let's say just different products and services that people offer. Uh, what are what are ways to stick your foot in the ground as far as pricing? I know that naturally everyone likes to negotiate and push, um, but how can you get the result on price? Let's say you're making an offer to the marketplace. How can you um, can maintain and actually get the price that you're looking for?
Like, let's say you have no audience, you have no reputation, you've never done the thing you're coaching on. Like, you'd be an idiot to think you could charge, 25K. I mean, you could, but like you don't have any proof of concept. You've never done the thing. You've helped no one do the thing. And like, there's actually people out there who will join a high ticket program and think that they can just pixie dust out of the air a $25,000 offer. Like, it's possible, but the better thing to do would become an actual expert at the thing, right? So if you're going to teach on sales, have sold before, right? And then learn how to be a sales manager and then be investing in, programs to get better at sales and then coach on sales. I think that's a better route. It's like being an overweight fitness coach. Nobody's going to listen to you. But so let's say you do have the expertise. That's key. Um, Really, the name of the game is like, who do you want to work with, right? If you want to work with, teenagers, right? You're probably not going to be able to charge super high ticket unless you work with teenagers whose parents own a seven-figure business and you go out, right? So I think in coaching, price is really about the outcome. How much is the outcome worth? For instance, I do like the red pill test. Let's say there was a magic red pill. You take this pill, in 90 days, you lose 50 pounds. How much would someone pay for that? That gives you an indicator of like what the offer's worth, in my opinion. And then two is, again, back to who do you want to work with? Do they have money? Yes or no? Or access to money? Um, for instance, if I'm like working with seven-figure entrepreneurs, 100K, right? But if it's like helping someone start a business, it's like whatever you feel like you're worth. And I tell people usually you should start lower to make sure you can actually deliver. And then once you get good at delivering, you can always raise your prices.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and what would be just in the coaching space, because I know different people that I've spoken to want to get into the business. What would be, okay, I've decided that I'm passionate about coaching. How can they even get their first client or their first 10 clients or few clients? How could that, right? You're actually starting from nothing.
Dude, so it's just like I whiteboarded right here with one of my buddies, a pool company. So he was like, dude, I'm going to throw in the towel. I'm going to quit my job. I'm going to start a pool cleaning business. And he was like, how should I get my first client? I was like, you should make a post on Facebook and tell everyone you know, and then post in like some Facebook groups of the local area. Just as like a ripping the band-aid off, I'm starting this thing. And he's got like 40 clients now. Never ran an ad. I've
Wow.
been telling him to run ads. But it's the same thing with coaching, bro. It's like, hey, I want to help this type of person do X, Y, and Z. If that's you, comment a keyword, message me, direct message me. Um,
Wow.
like it's the same way as any other business. Like you get your first client, but then once you get your first few, my style is to take that, profit, whatever, reinvest it into a marketing strategy that actually, gets people to come to you. So,
Yeah. But I'm just curious, the friend, how long did it take him to get the 40 clients?
dude, it was crazy, bro. I think 2 months now, 3 months.
Wow.
It just kind of took off. And all of his clients are coming from word of mouth because he actually does a good job. Like pool cleaners in our area are known to suck. So
Where are you, by the way? Just curious.
I'm in Texas,
Oh,
Dallas.
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Note to self, right?
Yeah.
Right. The pool cleaner. No, but that's what's fascinating is the start. I find because your mind tells you all the negative scenarios, right? And that's why, again, going back to that point, you have to make yourself comfortable with the worst case scenario, and then you can start. Most people have the trouble starting. So if you're coaching somebody and they have fear of failure
Mm.
or fear of starting. How do you get them over that?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately when people invest in themselves, something crazy happens. Like, it's not even about the money, let's say, but let's say someone paid you 5K to coach them on real estate. Depending on who that person was, they might not pay attention at all. But if
Mm,
someone paid you 50K, even if they have the fear, they basically just committed to working on the fear by wiring the money. I think the first step is like literally putting your money where your mouth is. And if you don't have enough money to invest in a mentor, whatever, serve somebody. Like that's a principle I feel like a lot of people don't operate in. Like the Bible talks about it a lot, right? Finding someone who's where you want to be and serving that person, right?
yeah.
So a lot of people could get a mentorship just by getting a job and then like working for the person they want to be mentored by.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I've mentioned on the show before, very, very few people have taken me up on this for the younger kids, college kids. To your point, right? You just live with your parents, live at home, but find the person that's doing what you love and work for them for free for a year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the greatest learning, and just serve them, right? Like,
Mm.
like whatever I need. Here's a paper. Here's some coffee. Um, that exponential learning and growth. But the people that have taken me up on that, it's amazing to see the compounding results on that
Yeah.
on that idea. You know,
100%.
so yeah, how can there's many different coaches, I guess. But how can you, again, you're starting out, right? Person can go to A, B, C, D, all different types of people. Uh, how can you differentiate yourself from other people in your services?
So what most people teach is your niche, right? So for instance, like just quick story, guy comes to me, he's a fitness coach and he's doing somewhat decent. Immediately we changed his niche because I was like, dude, it's too broad. Then he started helping skinny men, right, put on weight.
Mm,
Boom. Immediately, like 5x this business by the niche and then the marketing strategy. But let's say, you're a sales professional and you've already niched down to you're coaching solar cells, right? You're coaching people on how to get better at solar cells or setting, whatever. And then what you do is you differentiate yourself through the values. So, for instance, the first coaching program I joined because the dude was younger. He was my age. He loved the Lord and he smoked cigars. Literally. Like there was 50 other people on the internet, but when I saw him smoking a cigar at the time, I was like, dude, this dude, like that's exactly, what I do at the time. Boom. Like, how do I join? So he
right,
was an expert,
yeah,
but what actually caused me to like the guy is his value system with the Lord. And then he liked watches and cigars. So I was like, this dude's dope.
right. It's like people have to realize, and that's why we have the show, Common Denominator, how much it's 97, 98, 99% of all humans, we actually are very, very, very similar. So even our thoughts and even our anxieties and traumas and things, we actually have a lot of similarities. So if you just get comfortable being vulnerable and saying the truth, you'll find your tribe, whether in business or in life or in social settings. So that's why it's so important. You just have to speak the truth, and I don't think people will actually judge, because what will happen is the people will filter through, and then the people that you're supposed to be with, and then will come around, and you'll be a lot happier. But one thing I always question, because in different areas of my business, I spend money on marketing. What do you think is like in a great, effective, and efficient way? Right, spending the least amount of money with the most amount of impact. You have a certain amount of dollars marketing wise.
Yeah. I just believe like the funnel we're running right now, um, and there's basically three, but the key point behind it is a lot of people run ads to websites to things like that, I literally run ads to grow my personal brand. So we call it like Instagram follower ads. So on Instagram, you know, that little blue button, essentially we started just clicking that button, telling, hey, are you an online coach, blah, blah, blah. If so, give me a follow where I show you how to do X, Y, and Z on my page. And then that's worked across the board, in real estate, life coaching, like literally almost any offer. Because now we're running ads, not to a ClickFunnels account or to an offer or to a VSL, but literally just click follow. And the leads are a lot cheaper. And then from there, now that we're gaining followers, they see our organic content, our YouTube channel, our school group, our story post, and then they naturally funnel into other funnels, which are like our website funnel, retargeting ads, things like that. And then it actually builds you an audience too, which is great.
Mm.
So like I've got to meet so many people like in real life, just by running the ads.
I'll tell you, most people don't realize that because it's about building that brand, right? And being congruent and accountable, transparent with that brand and the value systems. And then from there, everything in business is either a service or a widget. So, this is what I stand for. Like, let's say you went ahead now and you sold cigars, right?
Mm.
You're following your people. It's like, oh, I happen to like this cigar. Okay, maybe 10,000 people will buy, that brand of cigar because Brandon likes it. People don't
Mm.
realize how important, because you're building trust, you're building relationship, you're building community, right? Building
Mm.
that brand. So I just want to harp on that point because I think that's super important.
Yeah,
Uh,
another thing I would say on that is whenever you do tell people like, hey, buy this thing, make sure it's actually good because it's very easy to break trust with people too.
yeah,
If you're like, hey, this is the best cigar in the world, and they try it and it's terrible, it's falling apart out of the package, whatever, they're gonna be like, oh, Brandon told me to get this, right? And then they associate our brand with like, dang, his, discernment is off.
so now I just want to see about what is your like high level. What does your coaching business look like? Because I know you coach coaches, right? So,
Mhm.
um, so what is like a typical month or year or day? What does it look like for you?
Yeah, so a lot of people get into that niche just to I think like start out. However, like the analogy of the college guy you talk about, like, hey, come work with me. I got to be up close and personal to Brooke and her husband, just as an employee for 2 years, right? So like learning the ins and outs of like marketing, running their social media, and it was like a pretty big operation. And then from there, I actually worked for several of her clients, as well. Um, and yeah, I was doing the thing that I teach before. Like I just didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to coach coaches, right? I started a marketing agency for coaches. And then I realized I could actually get people better results if instead of doing the ads for them, right? Doing the marketing system for them. I just taught them how to do it. And that was kind of the switch over. Um, but yeah, a typical day, it looks like today, making content ultimately at this level, managing the team, and then doing, a group call once a week for me. And then we've got other coaches that do group calls, like manage all the course and stuff like that. But yeah, when you're starting out, it's like you're a one man show, right? And then you start to do like you would in any other business, which is build a team around you. Um, so yeah,
I I want to ask you, Brandon, what is something that you're grateful for?
dude, honestly, just the network I have and like people. Like, I
Mm.
feel like super blessed, but just the amount of people I know and yeah, I know not everybody has that. So
Yeah, yeah, connecting. It's unfortunately getting harder and harder to find the people you connect with. So I
mm.
definitely understand that. And what would you say is the common denominator of people that have successful online businesses, online coaching?
Yeah, dude, I've found personally that the people are they're actual experts. Like, 'cause you can, for instance, I think Alex Ramosi says this. I don't know if it was him, but if you have a good product, right, you can market decently and still have a great business, right? If you have a good product and good marketing, like you get exponential results. However, if you have a bad product and great marketing, it still sucks, right? Because refunds, all these things, negative reviews, just it's inevitably going to suck. So that's with coaching, right? So if you're actually good and care about your students, like it's the number one key. Second from there, it really comes down to like, hey, do you have a clear niche? Yes or no, right? Do you communicate your values or do you just blend in with everyone else's content? Like you were talking about a second ago, really just speaking your mind. If those two are yeses and you're, committed to the process, a good indicator is like, does the person, have discipline? So if you have expertise, a good niche, and discipline, I would say you're in the top 10% of coaches, just right there.
And I love that about care, right? You have to really care every day, and the discipline is the discipline of caring, right?
Yep.
And then through your niche, through who you are. But I want to really thank you, Brandon, and for the time. How can people learn more about you and follow you on social?
Yeah, best place would just be at I am Brandon, Brandon Forbes, Forbes. So yeah, Instagram is the best place. It's got links to all my other stuff. So
really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Brandon.
100%. Great to be here.
Yeah, keep on keeping on, right? As they say.
Yes, sir.
Great stuff. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure thing.
Hope you enjoyed my conversation with Brandon. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, we'd be grateful for a like, share, and subscribe. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please feel free to leave a rating and review. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.